Hello and welcome. Our top focus, Maharashtra is still in a power muddle. The power sharing agreement in Mahayuti has not yet been resolved, and after 10 days of the election results in a big victory for the BJP-led alliance, the state doesn't have a government or a chief minister. Now, the BJP leader and speculated next Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis met Eknath Shinde at his residence. Shinde has been playing hardball. First, in fact, he went to his village, came back and said he is not well and has not been able to attend meetings of the Mahayuti. In fact, sources say that Shiv Sena is driving a hard bargain for plum ministries in the last few days. Now, Eknath Shinde is back on the negotiating table. Vijay Rupani, one of the observers for the BJP's legislative party meeting, central observer, has also arrived in Mumbai. So will tomorrow or will Wednesday be the day when Maharashtra sees a chief minister's name?
यहाँ पर महायुति का डिसीजन कल शाम को हमारे साथ एक बार मीटिंग होने के बाद होने वाला है, लेकिन शिंदे साहब हो, अजित दादा हो या भाजपा, ये साथ में महायुति करके ही डिसीजन होगा। कोई नाराज नहीं, कोई यहाँ वहाँ गया हुआ नहीं, कोई भी पेच कायम नहीं है, कोई तकलीफ नहीं है। हम लोग उनके साथ में वहाँ रहने वाले हैं और जो डिपार्टमेंट मिलेंगे वो उसको न्याय देने वाले।
सरकार तो बनने वाली है और कल हमारे संसदीय दल की बैठक है, विधायकों की चर्चा करेंगे और पार्टी के नेता कल चुने जाएंगे और उसके बाद परसों जो ओथ सेरेमनी है, शपथ विधि, वो भी होगी। हम लोकतांत्रिक परंपरा से काम करते हैं, तो सभी विधायक दल की बैठक में सबको पूछेंगे, प्रस्ताव आएगा, सपोर्ट बात होगी। अगर सर्वसम्मति हो जाएगी तो एक ही प्रस्ताव होगा। अगर कोई नेता बनना चाहता है तो फिर देखेंगे आने वाले।
As we inch closer to the swearing-in ceremony, we can clearly see that developments have started picking up pace here in Mumbai. It all started with, they were with Eknath Shinde making himself available for meetings today. After him visiting the hospital, of course, he's still not 100% fine, but he is good enough to go ahead with the meetings. Is what his team told us. And it was surprise visit was that of Devendra Fadnavis paying visit to his his official residence here at Varsha Bungalow. The meeting went on for close to 45 minutes. Of course, officially it is just Devendra Fadnavis checking on Eknath Shinde because he's been absent from the city for close to 4 and 5 days. He was in his hometown for a good 2 days, in the last weekend. So this is the first time that the two leaders met after the meeting that took place in Delhi alongside Amit Shah. The pictures of which went viral for all the wrong reasons as far as Eknath Shinde is concerned. And since then, of course, the leaders of Mahayuti were expected to meet later immediately to discuss the portfolio distribution, but that did not happen given the ill health of Eknath Shinde.
Leader of opposition in Lok Sabha Rahul Gandhi and Member of Parliament from Wayanad Priyanka Gandhi are expected to visit Sambhal on Wednesday, the violence-hit district of Uttar Pradesh. Now, the Sambhal district administration has put ban on outsiders to reach Sambhal. The district magistrate has written to the neighboring district officials and has asked them to stop Rahul Gandhi at the borders. Now, this is ahead of the top Congress leaders' visit to Sambhal. These orders are to stop Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi from entering Sambhal. 4 districts which are adjoining districts to Sambhal, Noida, Ghaziabad, Amroha and Bulandshahr. This letter has been sent to the officials in these districts. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar made a detailed statement on India-China relations in the Lok Sabha. He informed the House relations have improved, emphasizing government's commitment to engaging with China. In fact, the Foreign Minister said ties between the two Asian giants have been abnormal since Galwan clashes in April 2020, and India remains committed for engaging with China through bilateral talks to arrive at a fair, reasonable and mutually acceptable settlement of the border issue.
The House is aware that our ties have been abnormal since 2020, when peace and tranquility in the border areas were disturbed as a result of Chinese actions. Recent developments that reflect our continuous diplomatic engagement since then have set our ties in the direction of some improvement. The House is cognizant of the fact that China is an illegal occupation of 38,000 square kilometers of Indian territory in Aksai Chin as a result of the 1962 conflicts and the event that preceded it. Furthermore, Pakistan illegally ceded 5,180 square kilometers of Indian territory to China in 1963, which has been under its occupation since 1948. India and China have held talks for multiple decades to resolve the boundary issue. While there is a line of actual control, LAC, it does not have a common understanding in some areas. We remain committed to engaging with China through bilateral discussions to arrive at a fair, reasonable, and mutually acceptable framework for a boundary settlement.
This has been seen frequently as well. Whenever there is a Congress party who asks intervention for the leader of opposition, this does not happen. But on this particular issue, is there any sort of differences with the government, or the Congress party is with the government stand on the LSC?
We all know that Congress party doesn't do politics on the neighboring countries, and particularly with China, we doesn't do politics with the government. We always stand with for India's interest. But the problem with the government is that they wanted to demean the previous decisions of the previous governments and wants to show that the previous governments has done something which is not in the national interest. That's very unfortunate. The governments, the parties may change, but India's interest must not be compromised.
Meanwhile, another hit and drag case from Pune, where an Audi car, in fact, hit a biker who was trying to stop the car after an argument with the biker. In fact, the victim was dragged up to 3 kilometers and alleged that the car also, in fact, tried to mow him down. The rider of this bike was dragged, in fact, on the bonnet for 3 kilometers before he fell down from this bonnet. 3 people now have been arrested in this case. The 23-year-old man was dragged after a scuffle broke out with the Audi driver.
तो वो लोग मुझे बोल रहे थे कि गाड़ी में से जब भी उतरे तो मुझे बोल रहे थे तूने गाड़ी कैसे क्या रुकी। मुझे गाड़ी चलाते समय भी उन्होंने मुझे मारने की धमकी वगैरह दी।
क्या इस मामले को लेकर आपने कुछ पुलिस में शिकायत की?
मैंने वहाँ पे जब पे मैंने उड़ी मारी, वहाँ से ही मैंने पुलिस वालों को कॉल किया, तो वहाँ पे उन्होंने वहाँ पर वो आए थे तो कंप्लेंट वगैरह हो गई है उनके नाम की।
और क्या ये आपको जो सीसीटीवी में भी कैद हो?
हाँ, सीसीटीवी में भी रास्ते पर जो सर्कल वगैरह थे वहाँ पे सीसीटीवी में भी कैद हुआ है। फुटेज मिला है, पुलिस वालों ने भी लिया होगा, तो मुझे भी एक फुटेज मिला है उसका।
वो जो सीसीटीवी वायरल हो रहा है उसके अगेंस्ट पुलिस स्टेशन निगड़ी में क्राइम दाखिल हुआ है और उसी में 3 आरोपी को अरेस्ट किया हुआ है। उनको ऑनरेबल कोर्ट के सामने ले जाने के बाद कोर्ट ने हमारे को पीसी और एमसीआर दिया है। और जो ऑडी कार है जो कि क्राइम करते वक्त यूज की थी, वो कार को पंच के सामने हम सीज करने वाले हैं और आरोपी अभी हमारे गिरफ्त में।
Meanwhile, as Cyclone Fengal wreaked havoc in Tamil Nadu, Chief Minister Stalin spoke to Prime Minister Modi over phone and urged the Prime Minister to consider Tamil Nadu's request for relief and extend assistance. Stalin has requested 2,000 crore rupees for disaster relief and a central team for damage assessment.
River Tenpennar in spate as Cyclone Fengal triggered unprecedented rainfall in northern Tamil Nadu. 51 centimeter rainfall on a single day. It was a watery weekend for thousands, with the floods ravaging homes in Kadalur, Viluppuram and Kallakurichi districts after 1.7 lakh cubic feet water was discharged into the river from the Sathanur Dam.
நகரத்துலேருந்து வந்திருக்கோம் நாங்கள். வேப்பேன்னா தண்ணியே ஃபுல்லாக ஏரி ஃபுல்லாக வீடு ஃபுல்லாக வந்துடுச்சு தண்ணி. இப்போ எதுவுமே எடுக்க முடியல எங்களால். பசங்களை மட்டும் இட்டுட்டு வந்தாச்சு எதுவுமே எடுக்காமல்.
3 மணிக்கு எழுந்து பார்த்தோன்னே தண்ணி ஃபுல்லாக வீட்டுக்குள்ளே ஏறிடுச்சு. யாருமே அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணவே இல்லை. மறுநாள் காலையிலே வெடிஞ்சிட்ட பிறகு எல்லாம் வீட்டுக்கு கரையோரம் வந்துட்ட பிறகு தான் அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க.
Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has sought a 2,000 crore interim relief from Prime Minister Modi, citing hardship to large population and damage to crops, highways, electrical and public infrastructure. The Prime Minister called and spoke with Stalin.
அதையே நான் எப்படி சமாளிப்போங்கிறது அப்புறம் நாங்கள் முடிவு பண்ணிப்போம். நாடாளுமன்றத்தில் கூட இன்னைக்கு திமுக எம்பிகள் வந்து பேச விடலையா? புயல் பாதிப்பை பற்றி பேச விடலையா? அலோ பண்ணலையா?
Amid public anger over lack of flood alert, slush was thrown on Forest Minister Ponmudi in Viluppuram, resulting in a political slugfest with the BJP state president stating it was an expression of public frustration and the DMK accusing the BJP of orchestrating it. Coastal and South Karnataka too received heavy rains. A yellow alert has been issued for Bengaluru.
Tomorrow onwards, rainfall is very likely to decrease. However, only light rainfall at a few places may be expected tomorrow onwards over the state. This has affected mostly agricultural crop. Otherwise, not that much damage because flooding is not that much.
With climate change triggering unprecedented rainfall, the scale of devastation is only on the rise every year. The big question, do authorities learn any lessons? With Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru and Venkatesan in Kadalur, in Chennai, with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find TV.
It was nothing less than a miracle to see a tap with running water in the middle of a desert. But 78 years after independence, this is finally a reality, and that too in India. As tap water is now reaching villages like Sundra, located 50 kilometers from the India-Pakistan border. The village, in fact, villagers here had their wells destroyed in the India-Pakistan war by the shelling of the Pakistani forces which occupied this village, and to get drinking water, the villagers had to walk 10 kilometers. Now, all this is the story of the past.
A tap with running water. 78 years after independence, Sundra village, 50 kilometers from the border with Pakistan, has finally got sweet drinking water.
पहले तो साहब बड़ी मुश्किल थी। उसके अलावा हम यहाँ से 10 किलोमीटर दूर बोई कर्नाटक पार है, उधर छोटे छोटे बेरिया है, ऊँटों पे और गधों पे भर भर के पीने के लिए पानी ले आते थे।
बॉर्डर कितना दूर है
यहाँ से 185 किलोमीटर।
ये बॉर्डर का आखिरी गांव है?
आखिरी गांव, लास्ट गांव है। अभी हफ्ते में 3 दिन हर तीसरे दिन छोड़ता, हर घर में 4-5 मटके पानी आते हैं।
पानी आता है, सप्ताह में एक बार पानी आता है, 2-3 घंटे तक लगभग चलता है।
अच्छा।
पहले होती थी कुओं वाली होती थी, जो पानी सींच के निकाला जाता था उसे।
कैसा पानी था?
खारा पानी था बिल्कुल। मीठे पानी के लिए बारिश जो पानी इकट्ठा करते थे वही होता था, दूसरा पानी मीठा नहीं मिलता था यहाँ पर।
This desert village was occupied by the Pakistani forces during the war in 1965 that destroyed their wells, or beris as they are called. After the war, village people relied on 3 tube wells which supplied mainly saline water. Or they had to fetch water from villages located 10 kilometers away. Now tap water from the Sardar Sarovar project on the Narmada canal reaches the village once a week. It may not meet all the water requirements of the people here, but at least a beginning has been made under the central government's Jal Jeevan mission.
7 दिन में एक बार आता है। जितने घरों में जो कनेक्शन है, नंबर है ना, उसमें पानी ठीक आता, पीने लायक कोई कमी नहीं।
Costing over 500 crores, 250 villages along the border with Pakistan in Jaisalmer and Barmer have been earmarked for water supply from the Narmada canal. Shifting sand dunes and this desert landscape makes it a challenge to lay pipelines in this terrain. But despite the odds, slowly, sweet water, more precious than even butter, as the saying goes in the desert, has reached 50 villages here for a start. With Raju Mali in Sundra village, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
There has been no relief for Chinmay Krishna Das, the priest of ISKCON temple in Bangladesh, as his bail hearing in a court in Bangladesh was postponed for a month due to unavailability of any lawyer to represent him. After an initial hearing on the bail petition, the judge set January 2nd as the date for the next hearing. Meanwhile, in India, in the capital of Tripura, bordering Bangladesh, thousands of people who took out a march demonstration near Dhaka Mission on Monday and also, in fact, broke in the consulate that has now resulted in Bangladesh suspending the consular and the visa services in Agartala. Meanwhile, in a surprise late-night TV address, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has declared martial law, slamming domestic political opponents and sending shockwaves through the country. Now, the president said the opposition parties had taken the parliamentary process hostage. He vowed to eradicate shameless pro-North Korean anti-state forces and said he had no choice but to take measures to safeguard the constitutional order. It is the first time since 1980 that martial law has been declared in South Korea. Hundreds of protesters gathered outside the South Korean parliament on Tuesday after the president declared the martial law in defiance of the martial law. The order from the South Korea's martial law command is out with various measures declared across the nation. Meanwhile, the National Assembly has passed a resolution request to lift martial law with a unanimous approval of all 190 registered members. There are reports coming in that the security forces have now started returning back, which could in fact be seen as a setback to the Korean president. Meanwhile, Alia Fakhri's sister of Bollywood actress Nargis Fakhri was arrested in Queens for allegedly setting a garage on fire, killing her ex-boyfriend Edward Jacobs and his friend Anastasia on November 23, 2024. Fakhri reportedly yelled, "You are all going to die today," before the blaze. The victims died of smoke inhalation and burns. Alia faces charges of murder and arson with a court date set for December 9, 2024. The case has garnered attention due to her celebrity connection. Meanwhile, Nargis Fakhri, sources say, has not been in touch with her sister for over a decade.